Good morning and welcome to DCT, Deep Coherence Technique, and to the 28-day DCT challenge. And today is day 26. Can you believe it? It's incredible. If you've just joined us, just jumped in on this video, don't go anywhere. Don't worry about it being day 26. You can always go back over the other videos and do the full 28 days. It's important that you're here. And there's probably something that you need to hear right now in this broadcast. So just stick around. All right, just stick around. Just want to get to my notes. Here we go. Right. This is I didn't expect to cover this subject in the 28 days. To be honest with you, I just didn't expect to cover it. I thought we would be covering something else today, but this is how it works. There are times when I get the guide and I go with where I'm guided because obviously it's needed. So today's subject is, where do the inner voices come from? Now, it's not a comfortable thing to even talk about, let alone think about. So what I want to say is just go with this. See where you identify, see where you don't identify. So go with your own resonance on this. I'd like to start with a quote by Alain de Botton, a British writer and philosopher. And the quote is, "Most of what goes on in our minds is not our own." Now, we all experience voices in our head. I don't mean actual audible voices. If that's the case, then you need to seek some medical help around that. I'm talking about ideas, suggestions, thoughts that come into your head seemingly out of nowhere, and they can be loaded negatively, dysfunctionally. They can be very disturbing. They can be critical. They can be anxiety ridden. I mean, they can be really bizarre, right? So you get the normal negative looping, the criticism, you get that. But then you can get other stuff where you daydream off and you have these incredible bizarre fantasies about you being heroic in a situation that is never going to happen, or you are somehow persecuted. You could be at your own funeral observing everybody, and it's just a really bizarre thing. And it happens more than people care to admit. But there are reasons for this, and they are connected to bad habits. Now, remember, the 28-day program is about disrupting autopilot. Those are the behaviors, the habits, and addictions that somehow we just run unconsciously, like Groundhog Day. This is about interrupting and asking questions and becoming the observer. So, in regards to these voices that are not our own, that aren't authentically ours, we can start to drill down and explore where they come from. So, here are some sources of these inner voices. Number one, parental and social conditioning. So Alain de Botton suggests that our self-criticism often stems from childhood authority figures, parents, grandparents, our teachers, our community leaders, maybe our caregivers, whose voices became a blueprint for an inner dialogue. And that's from his book, The School of Life. So what started as an outside voice when we were children, because we're sponges, got internalized and became part of our own dialogue. But they don't originate with our own beliefs, with our own feelings. Number two, the critical inner voice and self-sabotage. Now, this is a concept that's explored by Tamsen Firestone, a leading psychologist, who explains that negative self-talk often originates from early life experiences where we absorbed external judgments and internalized them as truth. So kind of continuing on the theme of what Alan was talking about, and that those internalized messages form what she calls the critical inner voice. And that in turn becomes self-sabotaging forces in our life that reinforce insecurity, fear, things like shame. And that's from her book, Conquer Your Critical Inner Voice. Number 3, collective trauma and cultural narratives. So society plants little seeds of unconscious fears in us from day one, right? So we get these messages that are just drilled out everywhere that you must succeed, that you're not good enough as you are. You got to have this, you got to have this house, these cars, this career, or you need to prove yourself. And if you think about it, if you think about how much money is put into advertising, if you think about Madison Avenue from the 50s on, that's an extraordinarily massive amount of pressure that is constant on us. And it all comes down to this one message: you're not enough unless you dot 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 have or become what they prescribe. So number 4, the ego's illusion of control. And I particularly like this one by Eckhart Tolle, where he explains that the mind generates intrusive thoughts as a way to create identity, so false identity and control. So the ego controls you through some of these intrusive thought loops. The ego thrives on self-judgment, and I will add, the ego thrives on drama and strife and anxiety because it reinforces an idea of separateness and suffering and dependency on the egoic narrative. And that's from Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. I would just like to add a point that I was thinking about yesterday as well. And that is quite simply this: we dwell in a quantum field. And the quantum field is like a vast open ocean. We don't exist in a sealed vacuum with a clear boundary. That's not how it works. We're not solid. Our bodies are a series of oscillating waveforms, and everything around us is the same. We dwell in a frequency soup, and just as the ocean could not prevent marine life from swimming through its waters, neither can we. So this is really good for us to be mindful around. Everything is happening right now, right here. It's a crowded space we're just tuned to different stations, if you will, but sometimes those stations overlap. There's a merging, there's some static, there's things that happen. And I think a lot of the time these thoughts flowing in and out in the collective is just a symptom of that. They're like phantoms. They're not real. They just come in and out. And the point is just allow them to come in and out, but I'll get into how we can stop these intrusive thoughts. Sometimes these thoughts are also they can be not just weird, they can be very distasteful and disturbing. And we've all experienced things like that, like really bizarre, disturbing thoughts. Again, remember, don't feel shame around those. Don't react to them. Don't give them what they want, which is a reaction and an emotional release. They're not you. So here's some things we can do. Identify the source and the theme. So per Tamsen Firestone's advice, recognizing where these thoughts come from, they will have a subtle signature. You'll get to be you'll become more refined as you notice what you notice more. So as you step into observation mode, you're going to be much more skillful at picking up the resonance signature. In other words, knowing what is really truly originating from you, source, or what is external, didn't belong to you, but you've internalized it, or what is just random thoughts. So here's some questions to ask. When this voice, whatever voice it is, starts the loop, how do you feel? Do these thoughts intensify when you're hungry, tired, depressed, fed up, whatever, like not in an optimal mood? What do you normally do automatically when there's an attack of these thoughts, especially if they're really critical? So do you find yourself going into self-soothing behaviors as a way to protect yourself from the criticism, for example, or perhaps the anxiety that those thoughts have generated in you? Now, here's the key. The DCT 28-day program is designed to disrupt autopilot and really bring you back into the sense of I am, right? I am the observer. This is the real me. And to separate it away from all of these other things that are not you. So we call this technique noticing what you notice. Here are some tips to deal with these thoughts. Now, these are not just ideas that I've generated. I had done some research yesterday as well around them. So name the source. Recognize that the voice is not you. Give it a name so you can make fun of it. You can say, oh, here comes negative Nelly again. Or you can say, here comes anxious warrior again. And you can just be a bit playful about it. And what that's going to do is that's going to reinforce the idea that this isn't you. You can do what I do. And I ignore these voices completely because I believe that honestly, the easiest thing to do is to starve any kind of thought system, uh, starve it of its oxygen by just completely ignoring it. I don't even give these thoughts airspace. They come in and they go out. Another idea is challenging the narrative. So some people find a lot of insights when they challenge these voices, and this could be a really powerful thing for you to do as well. So you can ask, who are you? Why are you doing this? Would you say this to a friend? Would you say this to a child? If not, then why should I accept this truth? I don't. You can silence the inner bully too. Firestone, for example, recommends practicing self-compassion by countering each negative thought with a self-affirming one. So instead of I'm not good enough, say, actually, that's not true. I'm growing every day. You can use the power of presence. And I really do like this one from Eckhart Tolle, where he advises that every time a negative thought appears, just simply pause, take a breath, and observe it without any engagement. Just watch it like a passing cloud, and it will lose its power. So here's a reflection question for today. What's one negative inner voice that you can observe and challenge and drill down on today? Food for thought. Okay, that's a lot of talking. So I'm just going to get grounded because after each topic of the day, for the 28 days, what I like to do is just go back within to ground myself, center myself, take a few deep breaths. So if you can join me in that, because what we're about to do next is a technique that is really simple. It's 5 steps. I practice this every day, and so does my community. And we find that it's a really easy way to become mindful, grounded, and present. So we always start with step number 1. And step number 1 is to ground ourselves. So if you can, take your shoes and socks off and put your feet on the ground, because DCT is really actually quite well done when you're standing up. But if you're sat down, just have a part of your body that is connected to the ground beneath you. So close your eyes. And what I want you to do is I want you to bring your full attention and awareness to the soles of your feet, just the soles. So feel the pad, the toes, the arch, the ball of your heel, the sides of your feet. Bring your full awareness to the soles of your feet. Very good. Now hold that feeling. And what we're going to do next is we're going to hold that and we're going to bring our awareness to the ground beneath our feet. So bring your focus, attention, and awareness to the ground beneath your feet and feel the difference. Now what we're going to do is we're going to connect the two so they become one. 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 Very good. Now drop your attention down through your feet, through the ground. And as you do so, you discover a huge root network system. It's incredible. It's like the luminescent roots of a great tree. Now, those roots spread out in all directions, but they follow the direction of going down ultimately, down through the layers of the earth. So I want you to push down through those roots, which are you. It's like your fascia in your body. This is what connects you to the earth. And this is what we're going to access today. So let your consciousness drop down through those roots, down, 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 down. Very good. All the way down until we reach the center of the earth herself, where we come across the earth's core, which is solid and black. And we notice here that our roots are connected to it. So follow your roots and now pass through into the center of the earth's core. Drop into the center of the earth's core. Let go. Now inside the earth's core, it is like a womb. It is safe and nurturing. It's familiar. It feels like home. It is black. And it is from here that you realize that you are in fact connected to every single living thing on this planet. So feel that connectedness. Feel that connection. And now bring that feeling up through the roots and imagine it like a golden amber sap that your roots are pulling up. So pull it up. It's a frequency resonance vibration from the earth itself. We'll pull it up, 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 all the way up to the ground beneath your feet, allowing it to enter your feet, whoosh, filling your feet with the vibration, resonance, and frequency from the earth herself. Now I'm going to count from 10 to 1. And when I get to 1, this energy frequency resonance is going to vortex up and spiral and absolutely vibrate all over your body, from the soles of your feet, tips of your fingers, top of your head. And all you need to do is just let go. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Just let go. 4, 3, 2. Feel that vibration all over your body. It's like a humming. Just let it go. Let it flow. Beautiful. Step number 1 complete. You are grounded to the center of the earth. Step number 2. We're going to activate the light body. So we're going to use breath work. We're going to breathe 5 times really deeply. You can breathe through your nose, your mouth, it doesn't matter. Just fill your lungs with oxygen. And as you breathe in, I want you to visualize a brilliant white light coming in, symbolizing prana, life force, coming in as you inhale. You hold it maybe for a few seconds, and then you exhale. So see a white light coming in, and then when you exhale, see a darker light going out. And what that's doing is it's going to pull out anything in your body that shouldn't be there. It's a very cleansing step. And we're going to do it 5 times. So continue to breathe like this, mindfully, but not labored. And understand that the prana life force that you're breathing in is activating and invigorating your body with life power itself. Step number 2, light body activated. Step number 3, we're now going to prime our electromagnetic field that runs all the way around us, arm's length. We're going to use our hands and our fingers in particular, palms and fingers, as antennae. And what we're going to do is we're going to gently pass our hands through our electromagnetic field, our biofield, which is intelligent. And now this isn't a thinking space or step. This is a notice what you notice step. So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to move like how you want, really. Arm's length all the way around you. And just notice what you notice. So you might notice, for example, a tingling or a sensation or a thickness in the air. Just connect to that. Just feel that. Because you are your electromagnetic field. You're not separate from it. It is the greater you. And when we do it, when we move our hands through our field like this, we're cohering our electromagnetic field to this human body. So this is a unification of your biotechnology. It's a very important step. And when you're doing this by yourself, you can really spend time moving and connecting. Step number 3 complete. Electromagnetic field is primed. Primed for what? Primed for step 4, what comes next. So put your hands together like this. Press into your heart and gently open. Close your eyes and imagine that you've opened a portal, which in fact you have, into your heart center. I want you to see yourself walking through that portal to the center of the space that you now find yourself in. Now, for everybody, this is different. So notice what you notice about this space that you've entered. What does it feel like? What does it look like? In this space, you notice that the light that illuminates it seems to be changing. The light is coming together to form what looks like at first an orb, quite brilliant. And then that orb grows bigger into a ball of light. And that ball of light slowly moves towards you. But you're not afraid. There's a magnetism between you. There's a love between you. And you feel drawn to walk towards the light as it moves towards you. And at some point, you become one. And there's an explosion and an implosion that is quite terrific. And that blast creates a rising sun, brilliant and radiant and glorious and golden. And that rising sun rises out of the heart center, casting its light, rays of light in all directions, through your Om-powered, primed field. So this isn't just light, it's power. And it stems from, originates from, comes from what we call the Om-powered I am, that 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 I am. So feel that power resonating, permeating, vibrating, reverberating throughout your electromagnetic field. And know that is who you truly are. Now you can see this as your higher self, as your unlimited, brilliant self, as the place and space of genius. It doesn't matter. This is who you really are. And you're going to be running this power throughout your day today. Now we're going to move to step number 5, which is we're going to boost this power that we've generated. So step number 5 is where it's power of 9. It's where we connect to the group, all of the people who are activated with us right now, online, all over the world. We're going to connect to the group through the third eye, enlightened mind, connect, open. Now, if we get permission from the enlightened mind, we're going to see a vertical beam of white light coming down to the heart. But if you don't get permission, you don't feel it, don't worry. So that beam of light goes down into the heart, which then expands out. This is the origin of the cross movement. It has nothing to do with the church. This is an ancient technique, vertical, horizontal. And what the heart does, it takes that boosted power from the group, it extracts it and generates a waveform, which you can see as a ripple on a still lake. Now see that waveform expanding. I see it as a blue squiggly line, like a waveform. See that expanding out, 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 out through your electromagnetic field in all directions. And this waveform is called coherence, not just because it will give you peace and groundedness, but also because it's a carrier wave. very powerful one. And so this carrier wave will waveform out in all directions into the quantum field, carrying with it the highest outcomes, opportunities, and experiences as directed from your empowered I am. So just let it go. When that wave hits the sides, the edges of your electromagnetic field, just let go. You don't have to control where it goes. You just have to trust that it's working for you. Because it is. So now we bring our hands back together and we seal the deal, because this is an empowered space. So repeat after me. And so it is. For I command my space, and I bless my day. I bless my world and everyone in it. So it is. And we say to you, in closing, notice what you notice today, because the quantum field is always talking and listening. And it listens in terms of frequencies and waveforms. So when incredible things happen in your day, remember that those things began here with DCT and with you. Share what we're doing with others, because this is here for everybody. You have a wonderful day, and I will see you really, really soon.